Alright guys, so I'm doing
You want to make sure you're not snagged.
3/4 inch stable braid, class 1 splice. Went up and got me a table to make this nice. I've read through the comments. This is performing a class 1 double braided splice and Samson stable braid with West Spur Nick Nice Guy Dave West Spur tree equipment. I read a lot of the comments and a lot of people are having trouble with this. I don't know if they've used their rope a bit. My rope's been used, but it's 200 feet and this is the end that's been in the bag, so it hasn't seen any wear and tear at all. So I imagine this is going to be pretty easy, so I don't know. I might have trouble like everybody else, and he just makes it look easy because he's good at it. So I figured I'd start recording and we'll see how it goes. So far I have followed the instructions. I have buried the core, or the cover, into the core, and now I'm burying the core through the cover and coming out at mark X. Let's see if I come out right on the other side here. Right there. I guess a lot of people's, some of the comments were, is that the core coming through this part gets disattached, which would suck. Then you gotta pull everything apart, start over. And that was very easy. I've been splicing lifelines, which are a lot of the ones that I love to splice are a double braid, where it has this hollow core on the inside of it, and it makes for a wonderful splice.
In this core, pull it, make sure that it's still free.
I'm gonna keep rewinding and follow these instructions to the T.
We're gonna go in.
Watch him do it again.
Be careful not to split. This is 2 carrier strands. We're not splitting those strands when we go in. You want to make sure you're not snagging this core. Pull it, make sure that it's still free.
Maybe the camera would be better
Come
right
out.
here. How does that look?
Right at mark Z.
Not bad. That's not so bad. Alright, so yeah, he pulls it all the way in.
So this crossover point here, it's really critical that you keep that uniform in size, roughly the same diameter as your rope. So what we're going to do now is we're going to zero this berry out, always holding the crossover point so we don't lose it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to mark this core to put a taper on it, just like we did with the cover in here. Go in at mark X, take your pen, reach in, and make a mark on this core. At that point, pull it out until your mark is exposed. So from this point, going towards the end, to put a taper on it, just like we did with the cover in here.
Let me go back.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to zero this berry out, always holding the crossover point so we don't lose it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to mark this core to put a taper on it, just like we did with the cover in here. So you go in at mark X, take your pen, reach in, and make a mark on this core.
Oh, okay, I see. If you can, go in. Right there, I see it in there. I think I got it.
You pull it out until your mark is exposed. So from this point, going towards the end of the core,
Alright, there's
do
my
our
mark.
taper. And we remove half of the strands. We're only going to be worried about tapering. Remember we went in 1/3 of a fid, that was 5 5/16 of an inch. So from here, ultimately, we'll be cutting off at 5 5/16 of an inch. So I'm just going to cut this off down my way.
Yeah, 5 5/16 of an inch, so we're just gonna cut this off and get it out of the way. So I think it was Ground Pounder said he would like to see me doing one of these videos, and I said, well, it's going to be a video of me watching a video, but at the same time, maybe it'll be inspirational to those who want to learn or don't know how to, because this is how I do it. This is how I learn. YouTube is the shiz in it. Let's see. Let's save some of this tape. Stick it there. Get rid of this.
So this core on this 3/4 inch stable braid has 3-strand carriers. You could just remove half of the 3-strand carriers, but in doing so your braid will fall apart. We don't want that to happen, so I remove 2 and 1. I'll take 2 out, and I'll remove 1. And I'll do that alternately, going around the rope at that taper mark on the core. 2. Then 1. 2.
I gotta see that again.
We don't want that to happen, so I remove 2 and 1. I'll take
2 going
2 out,
that way, and
I'll
one
remove 1.
going the other way. Okay, so we'll start with 2. And then 1.
And I'll do that alternately, going around the rope at that taper mark on the core. 2. Then 1. 2. And 1. Well, now we'll cut all these off.
Okay. So the tools that I have acquired so far, I think these scissors, Walmart or somewhere, but yeah, Fiskars. They're titanium scissors, and they've seen some use, and they're still doing good. They're not as sharp as when I first got them. Excuse me, guys, I'm making coffee. Keep the AC on. Keep it chilled. Get some hot coffee going. And shoot. It's time to go. I gotta go get the oil changed on the truck. And then I'll have to come back to this and finish it, which is cool. Might even have to edit some of this out. Or next time I'll just go live. If I can figure that out. Okay, we're back.
2.
And my coffee is lukewarm.
And 1. Well, now we'll cut all these off.
Pop it in for a minute. Alright, so we're cutting those off. Pretty sure this is all.
Okay. So now, from that taper mark, 5 5/16 of an inch.
There's the red mark.
There. Cut this at an angle.
I gotta see that again.
And again, put a. Then 1. Two.
Okay.
And 1. Well, now we'll cut all these off. Okay. So now, from that taper mark, 5 5/16 of an inch.
There.
I'm going to cut this at an angle.
Okay, kind of cut before it and
Again,
just a
put a
tiny
little
bit
bit.
after it. Don't do everything exact. Alright.
Paper on that. So now we're going to go over here to our crossover and we're going to zero this out and this will get buried. Always being mindful to hold your crossover. Okay, at this point, we're ready to bury and do our final bury. Pull your awl out, hold your crossover point, get everything.
Didn't quite get that to bury on. So I'm just gonna cheat a little bit there, and hopefully I get away with this. Okay, it's all burying except for one little tiny strand. Oh, it's going. Okay.
Zeroed out. Start your bury.
Okay, now this is where it's gonna get fun. I need to find an anchor point because this plastic table is not gonna cut it. I usually use the vise. Let's just leave that. Watch this guy.
Walk
Nice
down
guy,
your
Dave.
hole where you pinned your rope. Okay, at this point, it's difficult to see, but our eye's a little bit baggy. That happens, what we do, holding your crossover point, See, I've milked that bag up. Give a tug. Now we've zeroed that and tightened that back up. We're now ready to take the tape off. When you start to pull this tape off, because it's a little bit sticky,
Okay.
it tries to lift and deform your core
So
at the crossover there. You want to, earlier we were talking about maintaining that
I'm
diameter.
going
You
to
really want to work to do
use
that. So I'm going to hold that
that
there.
is a cleat.
Walk up.
So maybe now I'll put the camera here, and you can see that I've got
You see there, we're
my
almost there.
vise is the
Develop
cleat.
a little bit of a bag.
But
Yeah.
again, I want to do
Work that up.
just like he's talking about here.
Oh, Barry. Pull it all out. Hold your crossover point. Get everything zeroed out. Start your bearing. Hold your crossover point. Walk down to your awl where you pin your rope. Okay, at this point, it's difficult to see, but our eye's a little bit baggy. That happens, what we do, holding your crossover point. See, I've milked that bag up. Give a tug. Now we've zeroed that and tightened that back up. We're now ready to take the tape off.
Milk
When you
that
start to pull this tape off,
this
because
way.
it's a little bit sticky.
Give that
It
tug.
tries to lift
Okay.
and deform your core at the crossover there. You want to,
All right.
earlier we were talking about maintaining
Okay.
that diameter. We really,
Time to take the tape off. Let's see, where did that go? Oh goodness. Did I leave myself a nice corner to get at it? Don't want to risk cutting it.
really want to work to do that. So I'm going to hold that there. Walk up. Milk it back. You see there, we're almost there. We're developing a little bit of the bag. Again, work that up. We need to bury it to there. We've got a little ways to go. At this point, remove your pin. Form a prusik on your line. This gives you the ability to milk the cover more efficiently.
I need to find a prusik. I forgot all about this part. Usually have something in here. I guess anything will work. Let's see. Without going to my truck. Oh yeah, the truck is getting the oil changed. So maybe this. This should work fine. Is this hat hanging thing? Make a little prusik. Yep, I still have a little ways to go.
All the double braids need to be lock stitched. This splice is secure, but the lock stitching keeps his from slipping at low loads till the splice has been set.
Alright, so there's that. And this isn't very good. Maybe I put too many wraps on it. No. I'll just work it. My hands, I mean, I got these gloves that Arb Session sent me. These are supposed to be, oh yeah, super grippy. Okay, about a ½ inch to go now. And it was at like, well, 3/4 of an inch, and it was at like 1.5 inches. So this is working. Keep doing like he's saying and milking this one back here to this one. Get that bag out of it. And about 1/4 of an inch to go with my lifelines. Learned that it's good to work this section right as you get to the end of it. A lot of times I'll end up, if they're used ropes, beating on it with a rubber mallet to work it. When it's a new rope, these usually go together real easy. So all the people in the comments that are having a really hard time, I imagine they might not be working with new rope. My mark, there it is. Okay, it's getting close though. I mean, I'd like to see that mark line up to ensure that this is going to be a strong eye for my rigging purposes. I'd be rigging some crazy stuff. That's freaking awesome. I did it. I did it. This is my very first Class 1 double braided eye splice. I did a 6-inch eye. This is gonna be for big trees, heavy rigging. Oh, that's beautiful. That is nice. This will, I'm sure of it, fit right through here. Or is it not that easy? Oh man. I might actually have to go with the big yellow pulley. So I'm thinking, and then I don't have my ring in here, my large X ring, but the purpose, the awesome thing about having this is with an X ring, I'll be able to put this through and throw a carabiner on the end of it and make for efficiently clipping on and getting work done without having to do the running bowline every time. So there's that. That went really nice. I started with 5 fid links back, made the alpine butterfly, put an awl in it. Now here's my awl. I just use a chainsaw file. I've got some with dull tips and some with sharp tips. They work great for extracting the core out, as long as you're careful not to, snag cover strands, and all sorts of stuff when it comes to rope splicing. Use the tools that you have that'll work. My wire fid, my long wire fid, is a coat hanger, and it has helped me so much with straight buried kind of stuff. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm so pleased that this went well, because I heard it was very difficult. Now I need to lock stitch it. I'll listen to what he just said there and I'll get it lock stitched up, and that'll be that. I've done many lock stitches. So this was my latest creation. Now that is, but now this, I did this one this morning. I created an ultra sling for my pulley. I've got a much bigger one, but I think it's more so meant for a porter wrap. So I created this one for the canopy of the tree, and I've got that big one for the porter wrap, so we could just use an ultra sling for the porter wrap. And I'm going to take this 3/4 10x Tech, and I'm going to make a large deadeye sling. So if we're on a tree that's so large that that 12-foot long ultra sling for the porter wrap won't fit, then we'll switch over to this and throw it around the tree with the deadeye sling and do the cow hitch. And then if I need something bigger for this pulley on something, I've got that porter wrap ultra sling, the 12-foot one. So the setup will remain, it just depends on what size tree I'm working at. I can switch around a little bit of hardware here and there, and we'll be able to get everything down with good equipment. I guess that's it for now. I'll turn back on the camera or do a separate video tonight with the deadeye sling. Let's see here. Okay, so now I'm going to do the lock stitch on this 3/4 double braided rigging line. Secure it to a cleat over there so it doesn't slide around on me. Give me some slack. I've got this, and where's my wax twine? What have I done with my wax? Okay, here's my wax twine. But then I was just wondering, what did I do with my, did I leave it? Oh, here it is. I don't want to lose this. My sailmaker's, whatever you call it, needle. I was using that to put like this really pretty thick lock stitch to lock stitch the end of the ultra sling, and of course I just burn it. If you have a long tail, long tails, you can do a butt splice. Looks a little nicer. And then do a bigger lock stitch throughout the center of it. But if I was going to do that, I would have lost a pocket. And I've gotten them from Cheryl Tree, and they make them just like this, lock stitched at the end. It's fine. It's a good Dremel lock, a good Dremel lock with a straight berry to a lock stitch. Like, you can't go wrong. So anyway, I found that good. Now, what he was saying is that you don't want this to come out. We're gonna lock stitch this because we don't want it to come apart or start to come apart while it's not under load. But once you load it and you continuously load it, this becomes set and it'll never come undone. So this wax twine will be fine for the job. I'll do a hand-to-hand, couple of arm lengths, maybe a little more. I can always cut it off. Sure did. So I have these sewing needles for like upholstery, which was like the largest needle I had until I found out about those Sailmaker's needles. But this needle here will be fine for this wax twine. It works perfectly. Go ahead and tie a knot in the end of this. It's like I'm basically doubling it up here. I think this particular wax twine is rated at like a 40-pound tensile strength. So by doubling it up, we're making it 80-pound tensile strength. And we are passing it through and through and through and through and wrapping, and it'll make it very strong. I think come down about 1.5 inches with this, typically 1.5 inches with climb lines. Right about there. I'm going to start here. Pass that through so the knot hits there. Oh, I should have started from the left. Too late. Deal with it this way. I'll pass around to the left. We'll do 1, 2, 3 passes around. You know, not overlapping, but laying it, next to itself, and then pull tight, and then 1, 2. 3. I'm running out fast because shoot, this is fatter rope. I'm used to doing the lifelines. I should have gone with like 2 arm-to-arm lengths. 2, 3, and pull it tight. Now at this point, I guess I would typically go down further, but since I'm running out of string, I'm going to go ahead and pass this through at a different point. I have, for pulling the needle through, instead of the thing you put on your palm to push through, I use these little pliers. I don't know what they're for, but they're completely rounded in and out. So they are great for grabbing the needle and pulling it out without damaging it. So I'll come out there, and then I'll go right on the other side of my wrap and go back in. Come out over here. All going accordingly. Very cool. Yeah, that comes out there, goes back in there, and like locks itself around your whipping twine setup. Now I don't want to come out at the same point. I'll go in here. Come out right there, I like that. I love splicing double braided rope. Like it is an extremely strong splice that will not come out or undone in any manner. That's fine, that'll work right there. Nobody's perfect. Go in here and come out over there. Okay. Just trying to get it to where it's coming in and out of the rope in and out of different points, so it creates a spiral of lock. A spiral of lock. And then these ones that are pieces from the beginning, I'm going to make sure those are sticking out. Hello?
Hey Peter, this is Brian with Mavis Tire and Brake. How you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Good. Your 04 F-150 XLT is ready. We couldn't do the wiper blades today.
Yeah.
It would have to be another day. We couldn't get them.
Right. Were you able to order them?
Give me 1 second.
This will be my last pass.
So there's something electrical going on with it, plus our tech isn't here.
Okay.
So when you start talking about getting into that, it's... When can you bring it in and drop it off?
For that issue?
Yeah.
I don't know. I know more about, like, I guess I'll just have to call you at a separate time when I know I've got some good availability and kind of plan ahead on it.
No problem. John will be here. So yeah, you can see your truck is done, so just come up when you're ready to get it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, bud. Bye.
Bye. Sweet. Now these needles will break. Okay. That is good. So cut this off. Can't see it in my heart to throw this away. I might be able to use it for something. So yeah, I've acquired a lot of tools. 3/4 inch fid, 5/8 inch Samson tubular fid. I have the Selma fid kit. There's the littlest Selma fid. I've been leaving it out of the kit because this nylon, like paracord style stuff, fits right inside of the Selma fid, and the Selma fid has this little tab in there that catches the rope, and then I can, with these ones, this style hollow braid, this is a whipping stitch, lock stitch, I mean, I don't know what, whipping twine kind of lock stitch, two different types of lock stitch. And then the other lock stitch would be like I would take this Selma fid and go through here and pull this in and out of it, and that would be a good lock stitch for this as well. You don't have to do both, you can do one or the other. But I do like to do the whipping stitch because that really secures the end of it from coming undone, and that's usually the problem area. So that's what I went with. And if it's something, if it's a straight berry like this, but in this stuff, which I'm going to do next, and it's buried in there and then it continues and it's a dead eye sling, that's where the lock stitch is going to be really handy. And I am no professional. I am just learning. But I have been doing my lifelines for a couple of years. Watch enough YouTube videos, you start to see a lot. People share a lot, which is really cool. The more and more you watch, the more and more stuff you catch that you wouldn't have ever seen. I'll cut these off about 1/2 inch long, a little less on that cut, and take my torch. And the great stuff about this wax twine is how nicely it melts down, like melting factor. I look for that in the store before I bought any of that stuff. I took it to their torch at their little station and tested it all out to make sure I was going to have a good melt, because you want these to melt down nicely. You don't want them to fray apart. A good meltdown will secure, or ensure that it is not going to come apart on you. Let's go ahead and flatten that with my tubular fid. Very tubular. And there we have it. That is done. I am so pleased, because I was reading the comments section on his video and a lot of people were having a hard time. I figured they were probably using slightly used rope or something. Whatever it is, maybe it's my experience with the lifelines that got me through this one so easily. Alright, tools. I'll probably be using my tools again because I'm going to perform the Deadeye sling next. And I will turn the camera on for that one too. Until then, take care.